Welcome back, everyone. I am so thrilled to do this. We have been hosting this show for a couple of months now, and the response has frankly been kind of amazing. As we have hosted on Gross Domestic Problem, thought leaders, lawmakers, historians, policy writers of all shapes and sizes talking about this massive iceberg that threatens to sink the ship of the US Republic, that is the national debt. But one of the things that I have wanted to do is we're only releasing every couple of weeks because we want to make sure those interviews are actually good. But also just like things that happen that are significant to the debt are happening far more quickly than anybody can possibly keep up with. And I want to make that just a bit easier for you to be informed on this. So we're going to do this GDP morning show. I think I'm going to call it GDP AM. And this is episode 1. We're going to do this a quick roundup every morning. Here's the news regarding the debt. Here's what you need to know. And then I'll be in and out in a few minutes. And then you go about your freaking awesome day. Every day you are doing the things that you need to do to take care of your life, your family, your business, your employees. And the government is irresponsibly mortgaging your power to do it away from you. So where are we going to start? A week ago at the Turning Points USA conference in Tampa, Charlie Kirk hosted a debate on Israel-Palestine between Dave Smith, a stand-up comedian, a political commentator, and Josh Hammer. Both of these guys have strong diverging opinions on Israel-Palestine. But in that debate, there was this interesting fiscal policy goose egg.
We're going broke. We can't afford to do this anymore. This is like me taking out money on a credit card to lend to my friends so I can act like I'm the big shot.
I appreciate anybody calling our attention to how irresponsible and ridiculous our spending in this country is.
We have spent $20 trillion since the collapse of the Soviet Union. The war in Iraq and Afghanistan are over, and we're looking at our biggest defense budget ever.
But I wanted to just put these remarks in some context. Yes, I think Dave Smith is right that wars of choice have cost the U.S. over $20 trillion since the fall of the Soviet Union. That's true. That's almost 3/4 of my life. But I want to say that as a share of GDP, the defense budget is falling. Even though, as Smith says, we have the biggest defense budget ever, even adjusted for inflation. Sure, but as a share of GDP, the defense budget has been falling steadily for my entire life. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't care about this. Care about it if you want to. But if that's a problem, then the things that are actually growing, the parts of the government expense that are growing as a share of GDP are the real threat when it comes to the national debt. And all of those, practically all of them, are related to entitlements. Entitlements are the big, unsolvable, scary problem because while the seniors as a share of the population are growing, while we have 10,000 people retiring from this country every day, at the same time, the number of workers that are supporting those people as they age into this very precarious part of their lives is decreasing. So wouldn't you suspect that we would be getting more reflective about how we handle this? But that's not the case. We're not only being completely unreflective about the total cost of these programs, we're handing out ridiculous tax breaks, a $6,000 increase to the standard deduction, which is going to take tons and tons of Social Security recipients out of the tax rolls altogether. Now, I am all for the social safety net and taking care of the people who need it. At the same time, it is a fact that the seniors in this country are the wealthiest generation in the history of the world. Because every time you talk about this, everybody wants to pretend that basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to throw poor seniors off of a cliff. There was an ad that was like really unfair to Speaker Paul Ryan back in the day that showed like him literally pushing grandma off a cliff. And that is obviously ridiculous. Seniors aren't all one thing. There are seniors who desperately need help. And then there are lots of seniors who are already doing quite well for themselves. And we're handing them a tax break for no other reason than that they're the ones who show up to the polls and people trying to buy elections. We should not let it stand. And this is the thing. The national debt is not an issue just for wonky people who are overly interested in politics. You are working your tail off for your family's future, for your business's future. And you don't realize that the government's default plan is that when we get to the place where we're no longer able to keep up with the debt, they're just going to devalue the currency. On this, Dave Smith was entirely correct. And I appreciate the moral clarity on fiscal policy here.
We are destroying our own young people. You, not me. I'm not a young person. I'm fine. I'm in my 40s and I make good money. Your whole generation is getting screwed over by this because we have to devalue our currency in order to keep up with the demands for this spending that we cannot afford. No Islamist is going to take down our country, but drowning in debt will.
All of your energy and effort to build a better life for the people who come after you, all of that is going to be taken away from you by people who want to build a better life for people before you. And I think it's time that we as a country have a serious conversation about this. Thank you all so much for being with me. Episode 1 is in the books, GDP AM. Tune in with me again tomorrow. We're going to be talking about this stuff. It's not going away, so neither are we.